I'm Sam. This is the first time I'll be voting in this constituency. Given the increasing volatility and instability in this country's security, which I'm sure we'll all agree about, I'm interested in the candidate's view on defence spending and the nuclear deterrent Trident.
So we've got a Trident, nuclear and defence question. So should we start maybe with, would you like to answer that?
Yes, please. Welcome to Hendon Synagogue. It's really important vote. The issue of Trident is something that we really need to have a debate about. So over the next, until 2030, we're looking at spending something like £100 billion on something that we'll never use. I think the Cold War is over. I don't think that the UK has any rights to have nuclear because there's no uranium under our soil. We have to import it from Australia, other parts of the world.
In the days when there was a nuclear balance between America and Russia, there was mutual deterrence. Now there are countries, Iran in particular, are aspiring to nuclear weapons. I think everybody accepts that. And they might think that mutual destruction might even be quite a neat idea. As Trident is I think, in a dangerous world, to actually unilaterally abandon our nuclear deterrent is not really a clever idea. Trident's based in Faslane in Scotland. The other two nuclear bases are Plymouth and Portsmouth. They can't really base them there. They just repair them there. If Nicola Sturgeon has her way, she'll rid Scotland of nuclear weapons. The only way Ed Miliband is getting into power is with her support. She's going to tear our country apart, and she's going to she'll get rid of our nuclear deterrent if she can. This is a dangerous world. We should keep it.
If you're asking a question, should we keep Trident? The answer is absolutely, we must do. I was one of the people that signed recently the motion to say that we should increase our spending on defence, certainly to 2% or above. I'm terrified of some of the answers I've been hearing about Trident not being renewed. We have problems in Ukraine. We certainly, as Raymond said, we have problems with Iran, something that I've banged on about in Parliament, and we continue to have a problem with other countries around the world. For us to give away our nuclear deterrent would be appalling, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And this could happen if you have a minority Labour government backed up by the SNP. They will insist upon it. It's one of their red lines. We can't let that happen.
Andrew.
Yes. Well, I think there are two issues here. One, security at home, and one, security in relation to our defences. Security at home I'm very concerned about. The Metropolitan Police, if the Conservatives get their way, will have been cut by £1.4 billion, a third of its overall budget. And I'm going to come on to Trident. And that means, in terms of security for the Jewish committee, for example, it is that much reduced, because we depend on the Metropolitan Police for our intelligence in dealing with a lot of the things that are going on, particularly in relation to ISIS. As far as defence is concerned, I think it's appalling, utterly appalling, that when we decided to attack ISIS as part of the international coalition in Iraq, we couldn't muster 2 Tornado squadrons. We didn't have enough aircraft for 2 effective squadrons. We can only put 2 aircraft in the sky at any one time. Before, when we were in government, and before we had 10 squadrons. Our defences have been run down far too far. And as far as Trident is concerned, I'm not a fan of Trident. I think I'm on record of saying that. And I argue that in a number of different ways. First of all, our strategic nuclear deterrent is a hangover from the Cold War. And there's always been a tendency in our defences to fight the last war rather than the next one. So my concern is to make sure we have the right defences to deal with the war, if there is going to be a war, that we're going to face. Trident hasn't deterred the Russians from interfering in our airspace or sailing through the channel in our territorial waters, has it? Trident hasn't deterred the Russians from invading Crimea and attacking Ukraine or previously Georgia, has it? And I can tell you, Trident is going to deter the Iranians. They care less about human life than anybody. The concept of mutually assured destruction means nothing to them, nor to ISIS. It's not deterred them either. So my argument is, what we need to do is make sure we have the money, resources and will to strengthen our conventional defences to deal with these threats. And in particular, the threat which we all perhaps realise with our own computers, cyber. The cyber attack that we saw happened in America.
Andrew, let's keep on point.
Yeah, I am keeping on point. This is all part of it. You asked the questions about defences, and the biggest defence we need is to deal with the cyber threat to our security in terms of our defence forces and more personally. And I think that the Labour's commitment to a fundamental defence review in our first year is the way forward, to make sure we have the right defences, the right threats that we face.
I will ask the camera
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Our defence has been overstretched and underfunded for a long time, and Andrew is correct in saying that. But of course, it was the Labour government that took us to 2 wars in the noughties and stretched us to the point of creaking, as well as having an economy which was stumbling, and therefore we've had to make difficult decisions in strategic defence spending. Now, I come from a military family, and military is very important. We have to defend our liberty and defend our rights. But my problem with the Trident capability is that for the money that it's worth, it could be better spent on much better conventional defence that we need to defend these shores. We no longer have maritime defence system. We no longer have the Nimrod airplanes. We no longer have a sufficient aircraft carrier at the moment. And it's important that we do actually spend it on conventional defence rather than Trident, which, as Andrew says, is a white elephant. It hasn't stopped conflict. And I think we should be doing our bit to rid this planet of nuclear weapons.
It's a clear issue which people care dearly about. We're going to, there's a couple of requests for a reply on this panel, and then we can go to the floor if people feel so. Let's look at defence for a couple more minutes. But Andrew wants to do. You can ask the candidates a very, very 1-2 sentence responses quickly.
I just very quickly want to say, first of all, I'm horrified by the response about leaving us exposed. So it's very clear now that we will not have a nuclear capability that will deter anyone else.